Actually, my last name is Beverly.
Oh, excuse me.
It's okay. So thank you for having me on your show. My name is Eboni Nicole Beverly, and I am the founder of an organization called AFABU. It's an organization that I started probably like 3 years ago, and it's an organization for women. It's all about uniting women and just helping women to discover the greatness that lies in them. Our motto is, I believe that there's greatness in all of us. You just have to tap into your greatness and then use that to, fulfill your dreams and to live your life how you want to live it. And so that's what my organization is all about. I do motivational speaking. And like she said, I recently wrote a book called Don't Be a Baby Mama. And it's a book for single mothers. It's geared towards single mothers. And it's just a book about not falling into the stereotype of what, the society says a single mother is, and how to co-parent and get along effectively and in a positive manner with your child's father, so that you guys can raise your child together.
Good. Okay, my second guest, I've known her to be my mother, but others refer to her as Reverend Dr. Freda Wiggins. She has a PhD, is an ordained minister of gospel. She has a degree in theology from Golden Grain Bible College and a seminar, and has a PhD in philosophy and ministry from Channel Islands Bible College and Seminary 2005. She is an anointed preacher and teacher of God, is a spiritual mentor to many, and she is a host of New Vision, a worldwide radio program. Dr. Wiggins is also a member of American Christian Counselors. She served as a missionary to Kenya, Africa. In Kenya, she spoke in an outdoor ministry where many accepted the Lord Jesus Christ, John 3:16. Dr. Freda Wiggins is a founder of His Dream Fulfilled Center, a nonprofit organization which was founded in 2001, where many people of all nationalities and faith are welcome to seek wholeness and deepen their relationship with God. Matthew 6:9-13, 2 Chronicles 7:14. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and speak about what she also does.
First of all, I would like to thank my daughter, Tina, for inviting me on the radio program today. Actually, she explained it all. I am a mother, a wife, grandmother, great-grandmother, and I love to preach the gospel. And today is the day that the Lord truly has made, and I am glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. Very welcome. Well, today's topic is parents. Let's don't use our children as pawns. So before I get started, I have a couple of questions to ask the parents. Were your parents divorced when you were a child or an adolescent? Did your parents fight over control over you and your siblings? Did one of the parents try to turn you against the other parent? Did you get to visit and spend quality time with both mother and your father? Have you ever heard the meaning of PAS, parental alienation syndrome? Well, here's the answers to those questions. Many people can answer yes to the first, second, and maybe the third question, but no to the fourth. With a more than 50% of rate of divorce or breakup in relationships, the United States today, most people can relate when it was like to live through a divorce, breakup with their parents. Unfortunately, they can also relate to what it's like to feel like being a pawn in the war that they were involved in between both parents. The parental alienation syndrome, also known as PAS, is a burden that a child is forced to bear when one parent fails to recognize their child's strong need to love and be loved by both parents. Now I'm going to go over to Miss Eboni. Miss Eboni, since you wrote your book on Don't Be a Baby Mama and Let It Go.
Yes.
Tell our viewers what it's like to be, don't want to say be a baby mama, but what is it like to experience in that, knowing that you have 3 beautiful children that you are parenting, being a single parent, but how is it like being a co-parent?
My situation is I have 3 children. I have one child, his father is very active in his life. My 2 youngest kids, I actually was married to their father. And once we divorced, he actually chose not to be in their lives. So I come from both sides. I have one father who's very active in his child's life, and he's there, very present in his life. And then two children whose father is not active in their life at all. So,
Right.
you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you know, everything was great, you know, and everything's fine. I did have some, you know, animosity towards my ex-husband for the fact of him not being in, you know, his children's lives.
Right.
So this book, you know, I wrote this after, you know, all of that, the divorce and everything, because I had to learn how to put my feelings aside and do what was best for my kids. So there was times where, you know, he wanted to call and speak to the kids, but he hadn't called in like months. And, you know, my emotional side is like, no, like, you're not going to speak to my kids. You're not going to, you know, do that to my kids, you know. But it was me really just still holding on, you know, to things and issues that I had with him.
Right.
And so I had to learn how to just, you know, let that go, because that's their father, and I do want their father to be in their lives.
Right.
You know, I grew up with both of my parents. They were divorced, but they were still very present in my life. So I want my kids to have their father in their life. And so I know just from my struggles, and I know people that I've talked to, friends, there's a lot of women who struggle with, you know, that and issues with their kids' fathers. And a lot of times it's us just getting caught up in our own emotions, you know, of how this man treated us and how we feel about this man. Some of us may still have feelings for them, and they moved on, and we're still here with the kids. And so I wrote my book based off my personal experience and the things that I've seen, you know, and heard from other women.
Okay.
Just to help them.
Okay. One more question. How do you believe that if we place our child in the middle and we are now alienating our children from the other parent, whether it's bad mouthing, or saying your father doesn't do this, your father's not here, how do you believe, or how do you think that affects your child?
Man, I think it affects them tremendously. I know I don't think it's right, because, you know, you never want to be the one, you know, to talk bad or talk down about, you know, your child's father. And what I've seen is with women who do that, I mean, the child still loves that parent.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. You know, you're just making yourself, you know, look bad. You're making yourself look like the angry person, you know, the bad person. My thing is, you know, just let that child form their opinion on their own. You know, as they get older, if they see that the father is not in their life, or if it's a mom that's not there, then they will form that opinion. You have no right to put, you know, negative thoughts into your child's head about their father, no matter what, you know, they have done to you. You have to let them form their own relationship with that person and their own views and opinions of that person.
That's good. I honestly, I totally agree with you, because you see so many, or you hear so many stories about, you know, breakups or divorces where the woman is angry, not focusing everything on the women, but the women are so angry where they're going out and they're keeping the kids away from their fathers, because they know that the fathers love their child so much that they would use their child. It was funny because my husband just put on my Facebook post today something that P. Diddy's going through. His son's mother has a home and they're no longer together. But what have you was she stopped paying payments on the house, which is $622,000 back pay. And he still pays faithfully to her child support and spends time with the child. So the court ordered him to pay for the back rears on her house. Now, me personally, I don't think that's fair, because if he's paying faithfully and spending time with his child, and she's getting all the money and she's not spending the money where it's supposed to be used, you know, why should he be penalized for her mistakes?
Right.
I honestly believe that she needs to pay for, you know, the monies that she was playing off and not taking care of home, taking care of responsibilities.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go over to Dr. Freda Wiggins. I'm going to ask you the question. What do you believe, or how do you feel about the terminology parental alienation syndrome?
First of all, I like to say that parenting is not for cowards.
Right.
You really need to be rooted and really want to parent and to give your all to the children.
Right.
And what I feel about parenting alienation, it is harmful in both the child and the parent's life. And that's why it's important to be mature when you begin to raise a family,
Mm-hmm.
because you have a tendency to let your feelings and emotions sit down and not allow it to interfere with raising your children.
Right.
And like the word of God says, you train up a child in the way they should go, and then when they get old, they will not depart from it.
That's true. So true. So true. So true. Something else I wanted to say. A child who experienced the loss of a parent because the other parent has been successfully blocked from participating in the child's life. The consequences are worse. Most frequently, but not always, the parent who vanishes is the father. The child is left to imagine what became of the missing parent. It really is important that both parents communicate with their children and let them know that both mother and their father, they still love them and they're still going to be a part of their lives. It's also important to communicate confidence in your child, not just get along in front of them, but show that you can do it for them, because you want the best for your child. So it is important that the mother and the father plays both roles. But by all means, if you feel your child's in danger of the child's being mistreated or abused by this other parent, whether it's the mother or the father, then by all means do what you need to do as a parent.
Right.
But if the absent parent has done nothing wrong but left the relationship, then I feel you should not put your child in the middle of it where you're making your child choose which parent that he or she wants to be with. Because in the long run, I believe the child will suffer a lot of mental issues. They will have, they'll be depressed because they want to be part of the other parent's life, wondering if the parent ever thinks about them, wondering how come my other parent doesn't come to my birthday parties or holidays or what have you. So it plays a big role in a child's life. So if you are going through this or have been through this and you are doing this parent alienation, I'm asking that you will stop, not because I'm telling you to stop, but because you love your child. If you love your child, then you're going to think and you're going to put your child first. You're going to think about what it's causing your child or what is going to cause your child in the long run, because you want your child to be successful in life. You want your child to strive and even be better than what you or your husband or their father has done in life. So once again, before you start alienating the other parent, think about your child. Think about what this is causing your child, how harmful it can be to your child in the long run. Okay, I'm going to go back to Miss Eboni and ask you a question. How do you believe that we can prevent the parent alienation syndrome?
Wow, I mean, just education, things like this. We need to have, more seminars and, more mentors for these women, because, I mean, a lot of time, a lot of the women themselves were raised in homes, in single parent homes, and so you do what you are taught, what you are shown.
Top behavior,
and so, someone has to, break the cycle. Someone has to stand up and say, okay, I'm not going to do this. But a lot of times people, they just don't know any better. They have friends or family members who saying, girl, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. That's why, mentors are so important. And, churches, just, you really have to step in and be hands-on.
Right. Surround yourself around positive people.
Yeah, with these women, because they really don't know. I mean, that's why I really wrote this book, is to get it out there, to say, hey, I'm a young woman and this is what I'm going to do. I have 3 kids. And if, you really want to be honest, 2 baby daddies. It don't matter if I don't like the term, whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
But you don't have to be that way. This is how, I've handled it, and I'm using, my own life as an example of, how it can be done. You can work, effectively in a positive manner with your child's father. It doesn't have to always be war. It doesn't have to always be, drama. You guys can get along for the sake of your child. Put your personal feelings aside and get along so that you guys, can raise a productive, human being for society.
Right. Okay, the same question to you, Dr. Wiggins. How do you feel, or what do you think that we can do as parents or as a community to prevent the parent alienation syndrome?
One thing Miss Ebony mentioned is church, surrounding yourself with people, and yourself said positive people that will encourage you in the way that you should go and that will help you be the person that you should be. Parenting, it takes two. The Bible says that in that he said that he made man and woman to raise up godly children unto him.
Right.
But sometimes that is not always the case. So the parent that is left there to do the work needs to try to do the best they can and keep their kids around like positive people and be with them, travel with them, encourage them to do things that they would never think they could do, and just invest time in them.
Right. That's true. It's true. It takes a village to raise a child. Nowadays, we have so many young women that are having children, 17, 18 years old. Not to say that, anything's wrong with it, but myself, I was a teenage mother, so it was hard. I had my first child when I was 18, right out of high school. And it is hard, and it's hard doing it by yourself, because you do believe you have that, a woman has that ideal, the husband and wife, the house and the white picket fence. That's what we think about growing up. We have hope chests. I knew I had a hope chest that I was putting all kinds of stuff in, saying, this is what I'm going to have in my house, my first house. This is what I'm going to do. This is how many kids I want. I used to want to have 7 kids like my grandmother. But Lord knows, I only have 5, but I was almost there. But I mean,
To God be the glory.
But the thing is, it goes back to saying it takes a village to raise a child. And you have so many, like I said, you have so many young girls out there that's going and having kids with these men, and they're not realizing that each time that you lay down with a different man, you take a part of him with you. So now you're carrying around baggage of feeling neglected. Now you're feeling that, okay, he doesn't want me now because he moved on to somebody else. Or you may have that mindset where if I have a kid by him, he's going to stay with me. I'm here to tell you, just because you have a child by a man, it does not mean he's going to stay. So when you are ready to have a child, make sure that the person that you're having a child with, that person is going to be there for you and that child. Whether you guys do break up, at least you know that parent is still going to step up and do the role that he partaked in. So once again, you have to be careful who you have children with, and also be careful of your child's feelings. And if you guys are going to break up, make sure that you don't put your child in the middle of your game. Your child is not a chess piece. They're not a chess game. So whatever you're going through, don't include your child. You do it on your own time and don't include your child. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit about parental alienation syndrome. The parental alienation syndrome is the extreme end of custody battle gone real bad. PAS is the most negative consequences of increasing number of high conflict and divorces. In these cases, children become the victims of a relentless and destructive tug of war between their parents. It is a war that children cannot win or defend themselves against. It is a war where the enemy, the alienating parent, is someone whom the child dearly loves and depends upon for their needs to be met. For children, PAS is about loss, insecurities, fear, confusion, sadness, hopelessness, and despair. In fact, some experts consider PAS to be a form of child abuse because it robs the child of the security that the bond they once shared with the other parent. It impedes in the children's mind falsehoods about the targeted parent that are injurious to their own psyche and their sense of self. The purpose of aligning children against the targeted parent often involves threats, lies, manipulation, deprive, and even physical abuse. For the alienating parent, PAS can have several motivators such as feeling betrayed or rejected by the targeted parent, revenge, jealousy, fear, insecurity, anger, money. So like everything we have mentioned in our conversations prior to this, all that plays a role in it. Like Ms. Ebony said, you may be going through this and you're angry because the other parent doesn't want you anymore. You may still want the parent, but you're mad because he or she moved on now. And so now what you're doing, you're bringing your negative feelings, your negative behaviors in the situation and not thinking about your child. For instance, there's a section in my book. It's talking about how women, because I'm going to speak because I'm a woman, I'm going to speak on what I've seen other women do as far as being mad because the man has moved on. You go out and you're trying to find information on the other woman. First of all, the woman hasn't done anything to you, but get with your children's father. So now you're angry with her for no apparent reason. You're angry with her. So now you're finding out, you're being Inspector Gadget, trying to find out information, where she live, who she hang around with, what she do. It's not because you're curious about it because your children's going to be around her. You're doing it because you're spiteful. You're angry. You're on revenge mode now. So you're going tick for tat. And sometimes what I've seen and I've heard other women talk about, oh girl, I done drove by his house, saw that girl's car sitting in his driveway and keyed up the other woman's car. Or broke out her window. Why? This woman never done anything to you. And another thing I've seen where she's seen the other woman out in public. Now she's going to try to attack the woman because she's angry. And then the sad thing about it is you have your children in the car. So now your children's watching this. So now what you have done, you've created another situation in this whole entire mess. Now you're setting your child up for failure. Because in my book, I put that if a daughter sees her mother out there fighting in the streets over a man, over their father. So now she has that in her mind, oh, well, mama done it. I saw mama fight this girl over my daddy. So now she's doing it in school, in high school. Now she's in high school. So now she was with Kenny, and now Kenny don't want to be with her. And Kenny's with somebody else in school. So now she's telling her homegirls, come on, we're going to get this girl in the bathroom. We wait till she go into the girl's bathroom. So now they go wait till she goes in the girl's bathroom and jumps her. And so now they have another girl in the background videotaping the whole confrontation. And now they're putting this on social sites. So now what you've done, you've set your child up for failure. So now it's going to be a cycle, right. And now where they're playing this game now, it's like my last topic was last week, preschool to prison pipeline. So now they're kicking your kids straight out of school, straight into prison. So now you're setting your daughter up. So now she's catching the case for abuse, not abuse, but assault. She assaulted someone else. So now she's getting the case for that. So now she's in the system. And once you're in the system, it's hard to get out of that system. It takes 2 minutes to get into the system. It takes a lifetime to get out. So before you go and indulge in that situation, and if you do indulge in that, make sure your children's not around to see it. Because you don't want to set your child up for failure. You don't want to set your child up to be another statistic. You don't want to be in the system. We're trying to break the cycle of incarceration, and it starts at home. It starts with us.
And I actually have a chapter in my book called He's Moved On.
Okay.
Because I have experienced that. My first child's father, of course, I thought we were going to be together. We lived together. We were going to get married. And, we broke up while I was pregnant. So after I had my son, we still had talks about him helping me raise, our son and us getting back together. Well, it was an instance where, I found out that he was with somebody else because when he dropped my son out, he had her, with him.
Wow.
And so I was, of course, immediately, you do get caught up in those like emotions and those feelings, like what's going on. I didn't start anything, with the girl or anything, but I did, get on the phone with him and you have some explaining to do, just really, really angry. And, I was like, okay, well, who is this person? And let me see if I can find this person on social media. I was that person, I'm not even going to send him a lie. I'm like, I want to find out. And it wasn't even because, she's around my son. It was the fact, I want to know who this is because, you're feeling hurt, like, oh my God, is she better than me? Like, what, does he see in this person that he can't see in me? We have a child together, all of that. So I understand we go through all those emotions. But in my book, I try to explain to you, you want to be with a man that wants to be with you. If he's moved on, it doesn't mean that you're less of a woman. It doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. It doesn't mean that you're not great. It just means that you're not the right person for him. There's someone else out there for you. You may not see that right away, but don't spend your time chasing after some man who doesn't want to be with you. Finding some woman who you don't even know for no reason. I've been on the other side too, where I've dated, a man that had a child, and his child's mom, didn't like me. Hadn't said like 2 words to me, but she just didn't like me. She doesn't want her child to be around me. It's silly. It makes you look silly. And it makes you look ignorant. Like point blank period. It makes you look ignorant and silly for no reason, not to, like someone just because, they're with someone that you dated. And that man is not the only man in this world. So I really had to like step back and say, okay, he's moved on. As hurtful as it is, cry, do whatever you need to do to get past that. But if they moved on, they've moved on. Don't spend your time trying to play investigator, chase after this man, fighting people. It's not even worth it. There's somebody, be with somebody who wants to be with you. There is somebody for you. Be with, that person. Don't be the woman that's caught up and hanging on to a man for years that has clearly moved on and clearly doesn't want to have anything to do with you.
Right. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say.
She done whipped out the Bible. Y'all better get ready.
No, but really, I understand all these things that's going on. And it's just like in the book of Solomon, it says, with the young ladies and even the young men that are having sex, it says, don't awaken love so soon. When you do, then that takes you into a cycle that is hard to get out of. And then if you have a praying mother or a praying grandmother, or praying grandfather, you take the word of God. You don't fight with the people that have gone through. You take it to the word. And one word I want to give to everyone, because if you're going through this and you're experiencing your child that you love so much and you saw so much potential and then something happened in the way and it just stopped the process that you had in your heart, you go to the word and you go to Isaiah 49. Because the word of God says, can the prey be taken from the mighty man? Talking about God. Can they be taken? No. They may go through the cycle for a moment or so. Or the captives of a tyrant be rescued. Surely, thus says the Lord, even the captives of the mighty man will be taken away, and the prey of the tyrant will be rescued. So you're believing and you're trusting. If it's your daughter, your son, your grandson, if they're caught up, you're believing that God will rescue them and bring them back to where they need to be. And you will see the fruit.
Right. Yes. That's true. It's true. I want to go over some effects of the parent alienation syndrome, of what the children actually go through. Number one being anger. They're very angry.
Yes.
I was also reading as I was doing my research on this. I found out that, the counselors in school deal with a lot of our children.
Yeah.
And some of the children that are going through what they're going through at home, the teachers or the counselors don't know what they're experiencing at home. So therefore, the child is acting out in school. You have your 4th and 5th graders beating up on kids, pulling each other's hair, stabbing them with pencils or what have you. And now they've been sent to the counselor. And the counselor, like I said, once again, the counselor don't know what their child is experiencing at home, but the child is experiencing the situation where they're now being told by a parent that they love and depend on that don't trust that other parent. He's no good. He's not here for you, or she's not here for you. So now that child is like, what is going on? I don't know. Just yesterday we was all together as a family, and now we're separated. So, and the child goes to school and they're acting out because they don't know how to deal with it or who to talk to or how to let it out. So they're showing, the signs that they need help by acting out, beating up on people, grades dropping. And once again, the counselor doesn't know. And what I read, that the counselor just barely realized what parent alienation was. Nobody knew what it was, because they started doing a lot of researches on this. And the counselor sending their kids, out of school. They're being RPC'd out of school because they're, being in behaviors. So they're missing out on their education. So, and it goes back to our last week's topic, preschool to prison pipeline. So, as a counselor, I know you have a lot of kids that you have to deal with. I know teachers are not responsible for our children, but to teach our children. But if you see a child that's acting out and having behaviors, take them to the side and ask them what's really going on, because you don't know what a child is going through. You don't know if the child is being fed at home. You don't know if the child is being abused at home, mentally, physically. You don't know what the child is going through. So if you take the time to step back and say, what's wrong, Johnny? Tell me what's going on. I noticed that you changed, your attitudes changed. You withdrawn, you seem more depressed. You're not doing your work. You were an A and B student, now you're D's and F's. So what's really going on? Tell me. Instead of assuming that, okay, this child is a bad child, I'm just getting him out of my classroom, I don't want to deal with him. And so now once a child has that jacket over their head, so now it's going to follow them throughout school, because now this child is being, targeted as being a bully or being a kid that just don't care, only because of something that they're dealing with at home. Number 2 is lack of impulse control and conduct. Children that suffer from this, they suffer from aggression, and they often turns into delinquent behavior. Number 3, loss of self-confidence and self-esteem. 4, clinging and separation anxiety. Children, especially very young children who have been programmed to hate or disdain one of the parents, will tend to cling to that parent who has carried out the programming. 5, developing fears and phobias. A lot of kids in foster care, because they've been taken away from their parents or taken out of their homes due to some unknown reasons. Some of them have, fears and phobias. They even have the separation anxiety, where, they think somebody comes into my life, I'm gonna hold on to you. You can't leave me. And then if you turn around, just go to the bathroom or go to the store, now they think, is he or she coming back? Our kids suffer from stuff like that, but from our behaviors. 6, depression and suicidal thoughts. Suicide is really getting out of control now. It's, every time you turn around, you see a young child taking their lives. I believe about 2 months ago, a young girl in one of the local high schools committed suicide on campus. And prior to that, 2 weeks prior to that, a young man in Arizona was on campus, and he tweeted on Instagram that he was ready to commit suicide, and he had a shotgun on school campus and killed himself. And he was only 18. He was a track star. So you never know what a child's going through, what they're suffering. Sometimes all it takes is just 5 minutes of your time to pull the child aside and say, hey, what's going on? What's really going on? Let me know. And once again, I want to tell the parents, if you're going through the situation where you feel you're angry with the other parent, don't alienate your child from another parent. Allow your child to partake, and allow your child to spend time with that parent, because they do need both parents. And being a woman raising young men, we can't teach a young man how to be a man. So it has to be their father. If he's a good person and he's never done anything to the child, allow him to do that. Allow him to be a part of your child's life. But if the opposite parent does not want to be in the child's life, like Miss Eboni said, she experienced that, and I experienced that, where the other parent didn't want to partake in the child's life, then find a positive role model, find a mentor, find somebody in a church, an older gentleman in the church that want to spend, a couple of hours with the child. So that way you're going to break that cycle for that child. So now when he grows up to have his own family and have his own kids, 9 times out of 10, he's going to stay there and partake in his kids' lives.
That's good.
You have number 7, sleep disorders. Sometimes it's hard for the child to sleep because, they're thinking about why is my parent telling me not to love my other parent? And number 8, they have eating disorders. Some may not want to eat anymore, or some may indulge in eating. All you see is in the room, you go in there, you Snicker bar wrappers and soda pops and all junk food that is not healthy. That they'll start doing having disorders. Or they eat a lot, and then they find themselves going to the bathroom where they're sticking their fingers in their mouth and they're making themselves vomit. Number 9, they have educational problems. It's hard for them to concentrate in school to get their education. It's hard for them to learn, and you're wondering, why is this child, like you said, going from A and B's to now D's and F's? Then 9 times out of 10, you'll have a child that may want to try drugs or self-destruct. You see sometimes you see young kids that have self-mutilated themselves, where they're sitting there and cutting their wrist, making marks, burning themselves with cigarettes or burning themselves with lights. You'll find that a child would do that. They may have anxiety and panic attacks. They may be damaged, sexual identity problems. They may have to suffer poor peer relations, their social skills, and excessive feeling of guilt, wondering why am I the cause of my parents not being together? What happened? What did I do? Sometimes kids do think that they're the cause of their parents not being together anymore, and they start feeling bad and withdraw. So Miss Eboni, I want you to pick out something out of your book that you can leave with the women that will be a learning tool or a teaching tool for them, where they can use that and go forward and be, so they can be positive in their children's lives.
First off, I encourage, if you're a single mom, to get the book. You can get the book on Amazon.com. You can get it at Barnes & Noble, BarnesandNoble.com. It's inexpensive. I made sure that, it's very simple. It's a very small book. I made sure to make it inexpensive because I'm a single mom and I know how, money gets tight.
Right.
So it's very, right now you can get it for like $3.99 on Amazon.com. Because I really just wanted this to be a learning tool. I give it away for free a lot because it's not about I didn't write this book to make a profit. I wrote this book to, to educate women and to help women. And one of my chapters is the last chapter, and it's called Letting Go and Moving On. And it says you deserve happiness. And I just want to leave you with that. If your child's father, is not in your life, if he wants, doesn't want anything to do with you, I really, I empathize with you because I know I've been there, and it can be very, very hurtful.
Yes.
To you. But holding on to someone, like I said before, who doesn't want to have anything to do with you is just going to create more drama, more stress, unhappiness for you. And you deserve happiness. Don't ever let anyone feel like you don't. Don't ever let, that man make you feel like you're less of a woman because he decided to be with somebody else. So I just want to encourage you, instead of hanging on to this person, trying to see what they're doing in their lives, go out and create a life of your own. Go out and find your own, what you're supposed to be doing in life. Pursue your dreams, pursue your goals. Just because you have a kid, or if you have many kids and you're single, it does not mean that you can't have dreams or you can't have goals.
Right.
Still have dreams. You can still have goals. Go out and pursue those things that make you happy. And stop focusing on a person that's allowing you to be a negative person. I know myself personally, I've never was negative or angry, but being in a situation where, with my ex and him not wanting to be in my kids' lives, it was causing me to be angry. Every time I talk to him on the phone, I'm just angry, until one time, my friend had to tell me, why are you letting this man get you angry? Why are you letting this person affect your attitude?
Right.
They're out living their life, having a good old time, 9 times out of 10, not even thinking about you at all. Yet you're allowing this person to have a negative, thought control over your life. And that is something that you don't want to do. You don't want to give anyone control over your life. at all.
That's
And
right.
so when you allow this person to be have control over you, your thoughts, your actions, you're giving them control over your life.
Right.
And that is something you do not want to do. So I encourage you to go out, create a life of your own, pursue your dreams, pursue your goals, be the best mom that you can possibly be to your child.
Mhm.
And, you know, that will help you to get over this person, and that will help you to move on with your life.
That's
That's
so
good.
true. It's true. Okay, Dr. Wiggins, and talk about your little book you brought over there. Parent is not for cowards.
Dr. James C. Dobson wrote this, Parents Not for Cowards. And it's an excellent book. It gives you a lot of tools on how to raise children that are strong-willed and how to regain your stability as a parent. One thing I would like to say, even though, and see, God is a God of a second chance, right? Even though you make mistakes and things, one thing I want to encourage everyone is that the Lord is your shepherd. And then he said that you will not want. And he said that he would lie you down, even though you're going through the storms of life, he would lie you down in green pastures. And he will lead you beside the quiet waters. And he will restore your soul. Your soul may be tore up, but he promised to restore your soul. And that's what's a blessing. And he said he will guide you in the path of righteousness. So never let anything that you've done in the past stop you from what God has for you in the future.
That's true. It's true. I want to talk a little bit about co-parenting. It's hard. That's a hard word right there, co-parenting. Being a mother of my boys, I wish I could have co-parented with their fathers, but unfortunately it didn't work that way. But what co-parenting is very an essential tool in a child's life. You need your mother. Your mother teaches you, the love and the emotional side, and the father teaches you how to be a man as far as, what manly things do, whereas be how to take care of your household. Boys are raised up to think, I'm the provider. I'm supposed to be the head of the household. I'm to take care of everything. Yeah. So they had that burden at a young age of saying, okay, I'm a man, so I got to do this, or I'm a man, I can't cry. Being a man, because you cry doesn't make you a wimp, doesn't make you less of a person. But it's good. Oh, hush. It's good, to let it out sometimes. But co-parenting is like I said, is an essential part of a child's life. We need the mother and we need the father. I don't know how many times I can reiterate that or say that to you. Your children needs both parents. Bottom line. So if you're going through a situation where you're angry and you're mad, it's okay. It's natural. It's a natural emotion, but just don't involve your child in it. Allow your child to see their father or their mother, because nowadays you have men that's raising their children now. So you need to allow them to see the other parent. It's good. Let them build their own opinion on that parent. Let them see it. Don't you feed them the negative on them. Let them see, because eventually, if whatever that's to be true, they'll see it on their own.
Right.
So
They'll grow up and they'll see, okay, well, mom or daddy wasn't lying. That parent over there never was there for me. That parent never showed me anything or done anything for me. So allow your child to build his or her own opinion on the other parent. If you can, just keep pushing the child. Go call your dad, call your mom, say hi to them, so that way you're still keeping that communication open. And if you are in a situation where you have to be a co-parent, sometimes you don't want to talk to the other parent. Because I know I didn't. I don't want to talk to them sometimes either. I want to knock them upside the head a couple of times. But I mean, but sometimes you have to remove, like Eboni said, you have to remove yourself out of that situation. And like we said, we're not gonna lie, it is hard.
Yes,
it's very hard, because you are feeling like Eboni said, you are feeling like, why he don't want me? Why he picked her? I know I look better than she do. Or, I know I'm doing everything I can as a mother, as a woman for you. Why was she any better than me? And we get those things that go through our head, and it's okay. If you start feeling like that, get your journal. Write in your journal. Write down your thoughts. Okay, today, January 12th, 1952, or what have you. John made me mad or made me angry, didn't want to do this for the kids. But don't let it spill over into your kids.
Yes.
Let your child still be a happy child. Because once they see you not happy or upset, then it starts to boil over onto them, and then now they're starting to pick up. And that behavior is a top behavior. So if I'm angry all the time, what do you think your child gonna be? Your child's gonna be angry. If you are lashing out on everybody, what do you think your child's gonna do? Lash out. If you're going out trying to fight everybody in the streets because you're angry, what do you think your child's gonna do? Because they see that. So you have to be careful, be mindful of what you do around your children. It's okay to have fun. If you want to do that, like what was the last topic was youth and drugs. If you want to partake in that, do that, but do it on your own time. Don't do it around your kids so your kids see it. So now your child is 14, 15. Now they hang out with their homeboys, homegirls. Now they puff, pass. But if that's your recreation, that's okay. That's you. That's what you want to do. But don't let it go over onto your child. Because now what you're doing, you're creating a cycle. And you start off with the little stuff, the marijuana, and then it builds up and it builds up to something stronger. And like the poem I read last week, it says, I didn't come to you, you came to me. You chose me as a choice. I take the kids away from the parents and the parents away from the kids. So, and it also said at the end of the poem, it says, and I'll take you straight to hell. So we have to be careful. Like I said, be careful what you do around your kids. Because our kids are a sponge. Yes. Whatever they see, they soak up.
Everything.
Even with my grandkids, I know if I do something, they sit there watching me. And I'm like, oh God, I can't say that. You gotta be careful. Don't say that. Because you find yourself sometimes and you lose thought and you forget about, okay, who's around me, who's watching me. And even when you in public, you never know who's watching. And nowadays everybody's so quick to pull up their phone and videotape. They see somebody get beat up, here you are, I'm taping you. And it's sad that people are so into social media so hard. When I was growing up, we didn't have all that stuff. Our stuff was Ataris, and 9 times 10 we outside making games up. Hide and go seek or who can get what, but the kids are now so in tune to this electronic stuff, and it's everything so easily accessed. So you have to be careful on that too. Watch or monitor what your child is looking at on TV or the video games, because they have a lot of killing video games. So all I'm saying is this: our children are our future. It takes a village to raise a child. So if you see Miss Eboni over here, slacking or getting tired and she needs help, it's not going to hurt for you to go say, hey, Miss Eboni, what you need me to do? Do you need me to take your kids for an hour or two so you can go get you some me time, go get you a massage, a feet rubbed, whatever? It's not going to hurt you to do that. Or if you see somebody over here, struggling, what do you need? Instead of us talking about one another in a bad way, we need to grab the other person's hand and say, come on, let me help you. Or what can we do together? Let's do this. Because our children are our future. We don't want, me personally, like I said last week, I don't want my president of the United States serving time behind bars and trying to control the country. So if we start here at point A and we work together, walk together all the way to point Z, we can get done what we need to get done. Is our children. Yes. Put your children in the circle and surround them around positive people. You want them to be around people that's doing something with themselves, not just sitting at home watching TV and a couch potato. You want to surround them around people, businessmen, businesswomen. People that's doing something. You want them to be surrounded around that, because now what you're doing is you're planting seeds into your child.
Yes.
And so now you plant the seed. Now somebody else behind you come behind you and water it. So now the seed is growing. So now when your child is getting into age, now they're saying, hey, mom, I think I want to start my own business and do some jeans or be a clothes designer. So they say, okay, let's go to the library. Let's research what you want to do. So when we start doing that and getting that mindset, do you know as a community how powerful we can be? Do you know, where our children will be, how successful our child will be? We have so many kids that's in the system. We have so many kids that's behind bars, wasting their childhood away because why? Either a positive adult was too busy to take time out to a child that they seen that was going down. And so now that child is sitting there and wasting away. And that child can have talent. I've seen kids that had talent. They write books inside prison. They have a beautiful voice. I remember meeting this one young man. I mean, he was an artist. Picasso was the big thing back in the day. He was another young Picasso, but he was so good. But what good is that? Sitting on a bunk. What good is that? What is he doing for us? Or what can he be doing if somebody took the time out to grab him and say, come on, John, let me teach you. You don't want to go down that road. Come on, we're gonna come back over here on this side. So, sometimes we all get caught up in our own personal lives. We get caught up in, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Or I don't have time for you, I don't have time for you. But all it takes is 5 minutes. If you see a child that's going down the wrong road, if you see a child that doesn't have a parent, is an absent parent, pick that person up and say, come on, let's go. Let's do this. So before we end, do any of you ladies have anything else you want to reiterate to the women? We have 10 minutes.
I want to touch on something that you said about, how, we need the fathers in our lives for women who have young boys. I know as a young woman, I know people say that all the time, but even young women need their fathers,
right?
And I see sometimes women that have, young girls, they're like, oh, okay, well, she's with her mom, that's all that she needs. I grew up with my mom, and my dad, and eventually I ended up staying with my dad when I was like 12 years old. Women need their father just as much as boys do.
Right.
I learned my self-worth from my father. My mother taught me, how to be a lady and how to be, classy. But my father, he taught me about my self-worth. Okay. He was the first man to ever love me, and the first man that I ever loved. He, he set the standard for a man and what I saw a man to be. Okay. And so it is very, very, very important, not just for the fathers to be in their sons' lives, but for them to be in their daughters' lives as well.
That's true.
I know my dad had a significant effect on decisions I made as a woman. When it came to dating and just, things that a man can teach. We all, doing research for my book, a man and a woman, we both bring different things to the table for our children.
Yes.
And, the woman is more nurturing, and the man, you learn how to make sound decisions, from your father. And not to say that a woman can't, raise, a young man, but it's just certain things, that we can't teach them. There's certain things that I got from my father that I couldn't get from my mom. Right. So I just want to reiterate on that, how it's important as a father to be both in your son's life and in your daughter's life.
Okay. All right. And you have anything else to say before we go?
And the only thing I would like to reiterate is just stay in the Christian faith. And there you will have the fathers and the mothers that you need if you don't have them already. Yes, the grandparents. Yeah. And that will help you on your way.
Yes. Today was a good topic. It hits home for a lot of us in here in the community. And before we go, it's okay to be different. It's looking for mentors at this time. So if you are interested in mentoring a child, please contact us at 702-380-0828, or you can reach us by email, B as in Bravo, DIFF@gmail.com, or you can hit our website up at okaybedifferent.net. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to No More. See you next week.